Welcome, everyone. We are starting a new adventure, New Dimensions in Healing, for the next 9 sessions. We'll have 2 sessions per month, and they're scheduled. We are going to explore together what is healing all about, and how do we feel more healed in our life using some of these principles. We will approach this subject by studying together the 16 steps for healing, which is chapter 22 in your book. Now, we will also have guided visualizations for each class. So you'll be able to hear them later if you wish on a recording, but we'll be going through it step by step. So I'd like to ask you to come to class ready, comfortable, dress comfortably, sit quietly before we start, and ask this question. Intention, set an intention. What would I like to get out of this class? What do I want healed? And that might change over time. It's okay, let it change. So consider intentionally what it is that you want. You might want something today and it might change next time, or it might get fine-tuned. So don't worry if it gets changed. Don't worry that right now you have to come up with that perfect answer. Okay, just think about what is it that I want out of this class. And we are going to look at the constitution of man, the centers, all of that step by step by step. So before we start today, let's say the prayer of St. Francis of Assisi, page 8. Let's say it together, nice and slow. It is such a healing and soothing prayer. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. It is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Think about the meaning of these words and what is being asked. And we are going to start today, not with chapter 22, but with the introduction. Introduction is going to be a little bit different with the different printings of the book. For my book, the first printing, it's on 15, page 15, Roman numeral. See where it is in your book? 13, very good. I want you to pay attention to this chapter. It is so good. It is talking about the healing process. What are examples of emotional, mental, and physical illness, for example? You're going to think about that. We're going to think about what is attunement. What are we attuning to? The healing process, it says, is a process of attuning our bodies to a fixed note of our soul. Our star, what is it that we want to focus on in our life? What do we want that to be? That fixed note is the keynote of your innermost being, our human soul. So what is that keynote? How are we going to find what that is? We're going to do all the exercises, everything, all our discussions are going to be geared on finding what is that keynote for us. So you're going to ask yourself as we go through these classes, when have you felt most alive in your life? When have you felt the most at peace the most vibrant in your life? Think about those moments. And what was that and why was that? So this is that background information that you're going to ask yourself as we go through this chapter. So let's look at this process of healing. And let's read that first paragraph. Kelly, would you read that, please? Nice and loud.
Yes. When we speak about healing, we speak about the process of attunement. Just as an orchestra tunes every musical instrument with the keynote. Our physical, etheric, emotional, and mental bodies are like musical instruments. The whole individuality is an orchestra.
And then next line too, please.
The healing process is the process of tuning each instrument to the fixed note.
Okay, this is very important to think about. What do we tune ourselves to every day? And what do we want to tune ourselves to every day? Okay, these are major questions because I want you to think about this map of the human soul. Look at this map. This is our physical body way at the bottom. This is where we tune ourselves to every day with social media, our problems, our work-related issues that we need to solve, whatever it is. But look at, there is more to tune ourselves to. And this is what we are going to consider is, what do I need to tune myself into every day so that I can love and not ask to be loved, I can heal and not ask to be healed, and so on, the prayer that we just read. So keep this in your mind as we go through these classes is, where am I tuned in? And I know for me, when I am angry, when I am sad, when I am worried, I'm not tuned in to anything higher than my immediate physical environment. So it's a good question for us to ask, and we can take a look how we're starting today, 9 sessions after, at the end of the year. Where are we? What switched? What changed? What kind of tweaked a little bit in our life? Okay, so we are going to say, what is that fixed note that I want to tune into? And I want you to find what that is. Okay, what is your fixed note? And we'll share it with each other, but think about it now. Today is just thinking day, okay? Let's go to the next 3 little paragraphs. Amanda Jane, would you read?
Yes, thank you. Often in our musical rehearsals, we have a tuning fork, which gives the standard pitch on which all instruments are tuned. But what is the standard pitch, the standard frequency in man on which all his bodies must be tuned? Medicine, psychology, and psychiatry do not give us any information about this pitch. The only source we have is in the ageless wisdom.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't it amazing that when we ask ourselves at any given time of the day or year, what is the decent thing to do? We have a different answer, right? We say the decent thing to do is not this, it's this. Come on, let's straighten out. Isn't that what we ask? That's the wording that we use. So we're going to attune ourselves to what is the decent thing to do? What is the most loving thing to do? What is the best thing that I can do for my soul? So don't forget to ask that of yourself anytime you wish you had healing at that moment in your life. What do I tune myself to? Okay, Tanya, would you read the next line and that whole list, please?
According to the ageless wisdom, there exists the standard pitch in the core of man, and it is called by various names. The radiation of the divine spark in man, the creative Aum, the note of the soul, the note of the self, the note that resounds with the cosmic magnet, the note that opens the gates for higher realms, the note that makes all things new, the note that regenerates or harmonizes, uplifts, transforms, and even shatters the form side of life when the form is no longer cooperating with it.
Thank you. Note the word shatters. If I ask you, what is your keynote? Could you put a word to it? Yes.
I think the theme for me throughout my life has been about healing.
Healing. That's your keynote. Okay. What would be your keynote? Anyone, share with me. How do you define the decent thing to do, for example? Connie?
Well, the keynote for me is the higher self, just, connecting with that higher self, and the higher self is in the driver's seat.
Okay, good. Anything else?
Well, I think for me, most of my life, it's been like to be kind or be a good person. But then in recent years, it shifted more with this focus of like, what's the higher self?
Yeah. See, we are always reaching to the higher self, but we don't have words for it. We say it's a decent thing to do, it's a loving thing to do, but really it's the soul in us. The soul, it's the note that regenerates. Immediately when we think, what's the best thing I can do? The best advice I can give? It's immediately something that harmonizes and lifts, right? So we're getting used to asking that question. Yes, Connie?
Well, and in coaching and psychology is, what would my best self do? And it's the same thing.
Right.
It's just, yes.
Right. And we're going to see why asking that question is part of the healing process. Okay? That's what's so interesting. Okay. And Connie, would you read the next 3 paragraphs, please?
Every human being in his core has that keynote on which he is supposed to tune all his mental, emotional, etheric, and physical systems. Every step in tuning our system to that keynote is the healing process. That inner sound stands for our highest visions, the hope of glory, the archetype of perfection. This inner note, or the key sound, not only tunes our atoms, cells, organs, and system, but it also tunes us to the keynote of the universe, which as a cosmic sound tries to harmonize and tune all parts of creation.
Isn't that beautiful?
Wow, that's like
So you are going to find and put words to that keynote of decency that's in your life, the moral thing to do, the right thing to do. What is it that I need to do? And so these are just giving us esoteric words, but we already behave that way. So this whole process of healing is going to help us consciously say, okay, that's what I need to do, not this. That's going to be my choice, not that. Okay. Steve, we are reading the introduction section. You can share with Kelly until we come to the next part, if that's okay. All right. Let's go to the next. Connie, you read already?
Yes.
And Kurt, would you read 1, 2, 3, 4 little paragraphs, please?
For some people, the inner sound, the core sound, is the voice of God. If anyone hears this sound, he enters into an intense process of transfiguration. For others, it is the will of God to which every thought, emotion, action, and motive must be tuned. For still others, it is the supreme vision of beauty, harmony, joy, and bliss which must penetrate into all vehicles and expressions of man.
And can you do 2 more, please?
2 more. Still for others, it is the source of creativity, the currents of which bring transmutation and transfiguration in man. Still for others, it is the inner architect, the inner conductor, who builds the new temple of spirit out of the world of matter and orchestrates its relationship with the universe.
Very good. So as we are thinking, what is our inner keynote? What you are trying to do is you are trying to build a conscious line between your mind, your thought, physical brain, into this higher field of the mental body and even higher. So anytime you say, what is my keynote? Ask yourself throughout the day, what is my keynote? All of us are decent people. All of us are moral people. All of us want to do the right thing. But sometimes we forget and we suffer physically, emotionally, and mentally. So we are trying to constantly remind ourselves in these classes so we can develop a habit, a highway that I don't need to take that path, I'm going to take this path. And normally for decent people like us, that's not hard when we need to make a moral decision, but it's very hard when the emotions hit us, when doubt hits us. It's not hard in business. I don't want to cheat. I don't want to cheat somebody. I want to do this. But it's very hard when we're feeling depressed, when we're feeling sad, when we're feeling angry, to remember that's not our keynote. Okay? So in these classes, we're going to retrain our mind to reach for something higher. And it's not easy, but we can do it together. And we can do it through exercises, visualizations, and when you go home, you just keep doing these as much as you can. Remember these beautiful words. Okay, let's keep going. And Steve, are you ready to read a little bit for us?
I don't know, why don't you, let me get in groove, somebody else can read.
Okay, Kelly, would you read them, please, the next 2 paragraphs?
Okay, are we starting at the Ageless Wisdom?
Yes.
The Ageless Wisdom says that before conception takes place, the human soul releases his creative note upon which his vehicles form themselves. And when the time of departure comes, the human soul stops sounding the note and the disintegration of the bodies takes place.
Let's stop there for a minute and just imagine you're conceived in your mommy, and it's a note that you bring with you. And then when you're ready to depart, it's a note that you release. Isn't that beautiful? So just close your eyes for a minute and think of that note. What is that deep quality that you hold in your heart that is so dear that it really differentiates you? It really qualifies you. That's who you are. Deep inside. What is that? Just take a look at that. Something that you brought with you from the higher worlds. Every child brings with her, with him, from the higher worlds. Try to hold on to that, okay? Let's continue with the next paragraph, please.
The Ageless Wisdom says that the One began to sound his note, and the manifestation of the universe began. Soon we will find that all manifestation is a condensed sound. It is on the keynote of creation that all forms of life are striving in order to reach perfection, a supreme state of health.
So when we ask what is the purpose of life, is to evolve through living. As we live and learn, we evolve. We don't evolve in the higher worlds. We go to the higher worlds and take a little break and we stay the way we are, but we see things, we say, wow. When we come back, we change our life according to what we learned in the higher worlds. So remember this, you are here, we are all here to live and to transform and evolve through living. By learning hard lessons, by feeling bad, by crashing, by winning, by succumbing to this and that, and then by overcoming. That's the whole process. That's how we learn. Okay? I'll give you a chance to share, but let's just keep going now, a little bit more. Okay, Kelly, one more paragraph.
The healing process involves all the facets of man. There is no true health unless a person physically, emotionally, and mentally tunes to that inner keynote. Unless all the instruments of the vehicles are tuned to the keynote, the conductor cannot lead the orchestra and bring into manifestation the supreme beauty, the perfection, latent in every human being.
And one more line, please.
For some people, this inner keynote is the highest standard of spirituality and morality, without which there can be neither health nor happiness.
Okay, so we are being urged to find that inner keynote. Can anyone share, please? What would that be for you as we go forward? What is that for you? Don't be afraid to share.
You know, this is maybe a stretch. Guilty. I was getting ready to come and I fell asleep and I snoozed it. But keynote was, I need to get my rear here and get the keynote was the teaching for the day, and I need to get here.
The keynote is the teaching for the day, and I want to take advantage of that. Absolutely. So you listen. This is the key. We have a keynote, but do we listen all the time? No, because the habits of the bottom part take over. They take over. Our distress takes over. Our worry takes over. Social media takes over. The 2% influencers take over our entire life. So always think, what is that keynote that I want? Okay? Yes, Connie?
Well, and my keynote is to remember who I am. I'm
Yes.
not a body.
Yes.
I'm not a body. And
You're not a what?
I'm not a body.
A body.
Who am I really? I'm more radiant than the sun. And just kind of grounding in that every morning to remember throughout. And that's how we be decent.
This is it. This is it. Remember.
That is so good because that's what hit me today.
And can you all say, more radiant than the sun? Let's say it all together.
More radiant than the sun.
What's the next part?
Purer than the snow.
Purer than the snow.
Subtler than the ether.
Subtler than the ether.
Is the self.
Is the self.
The spirit within my heart.
The spirit within my heart.
I am that self.
I am that self.
That self I am.
That self I am. Beautiful. Yes.
I just wanted to add that last week Rafe came home with a science fact related directly to I am more radiant to the sun. And it was around the amount of light, I believe, that each cell in our body radiates, and that the magnitude of that is greater than the sun. So like if you put all the cells together in a certain way, it would be brighter than the sun, more powerful than the sun.
So the collective brightness or radiation of our cells is greater than the sun. That mantra is true. Now it's been scientifically proven.
Now I'm like, it doesn't add up. But the fact that he came home with was like, that's it. That's how it's scientifically true.
Isn't that beautiful?
13,
Yes.
yeah. 13.
Isn't that beautiful? And I just read yesterday that when trees are growing, they actually talk to each other. You know that. The mother trees actually feed the baby trees through the roots. They communicate and they stress and they even emit a sound when they're dying or when something catastrophic is happening to them. This has been actually recorded. So look at that. Isn't that amazing? And if they're doing that, the rocks are also, the soil is also vibrating. So everything is alive. So more radiant than the sun. Thank you for leading us. Beautiful. Okay, let's keep going. Amanda Jane. Let's read then the healing process and read 3 paragraphs. This is a section I want us to pay attention to and read again until next week. This is so important. Please.
The healing process is not only related to the physical and etheric bodies, but also to the emotional and mental bodies. Many people are apparently healthy in their physical bodies, but are sick in their emotions and thinking. You can heal the physical body for a while, but if you forget to heal the rest of the man, the physical body does not stay healthy. The health of a human being is the sum total of the degree of attunement that his vehicles reach. This is why more and more we are entering the era of holistic healing.
What does this section tell you? What is your insight from this section? Yes.
I think, I mentioned before about healing, because to me it is about mental, physical, emotional healing to open the way up. Obviously, there is light in there now, I understand that. But anything that I have not healed in myself has a trap that I can fall back into. And I really am not always happy, but always appreciative when I fall in the trap, because it reminds me that I have got so far, but now this is the next level. And just that idea of being clear in my physical, emotional, and mental body. And Connie had talked about having that inside, but then we've been given this amazing experience of being alive, which is the vehicle to do it. And I'm just very grateful, and this is
Very good.
Thank you.
Very good. This is so important to remember. The healing process is not only related to the physical and etheric bodies. Etheric is the energy body around our physical body, but also emotional and mental. So we can't heal just one part of our body. It has to be complete so that we can overcome and we can bring that radiation that is more than the sun released out of our cells. Isn't that incredible? So we can withstand the evolution and the process of life, which is not easy for anyone. It's not easy, but we can do it as we release that fire. Wow. Okay. Yes, Connie.
Oh, and we're in the Stepping in the Teaching, studying this same book, and even if the physical body is healthy, we're reading that emotions, they're acidic, create poison in the physical body. So if we're physically running marathons, but we have a lot of, that eventually the human body will just, anyway, the human body will become weaker. But we think about negative emotions cause acid in the physical body that the physical body cannot assimilate.
Right.
So where does it go?
Right. It's going to burn.
Say that again. What did acid you say?
That it's being proven that negative emotions, so even negative thoughts create an emotion that creates acid in the physical body because of all the hormones, and the physical body cannot assimilate it. And so where does that go? It gets stored in organs, and the organs start becoming weaker and poisoned.
We're going to cover all of these. Science is showing us, and we're going to see how it all combines with ageless wisdom. Let's go to the next section. Who's reading? Tanya? Yeah.
Yes.
Tanya, read.
People have thought.
Yes, the next two paragraphs, please.
People have thought that man is a chemical compound, while others thought that man is a pool of emotions or nothing else but a machine producing thoughts. These may be true, but a human being is also a spirit, a beauty, a condensed bliss, a source of cosmic creativity. He is the space. All that exists in him, all that he is the sum of the universe. He is the microcosm within the macrocosm. The healing process also includes the process of elimination of those elements from the physical, etheric, astral, and mental nature which create discord and cannot attune with the principles that are not of our core.
Beautiful. You know, many times all of us humans say the Bible said this, but I just can't, I walk away from it. The teaching says this, but I don't do it. Why is that? There's discord, right? Where there's a disconnection. So this whole healing process is a process of tuning in to those highest teachings. So not so easy.
No.
But that's it.
I mean, there's a complete a book and study of the immunity to change. I mean,
Yes.
It's becoming very, prominent and out there that there is an immunity to change.
Yes.
So what is it? What's the secret to changing?
We're going to discover. We're going to discover. So Connie, read the next two paragraphs, and then Kurt, finish for us. Go ahead, please.
Many habits, vices, dark urges, and drives coming from our past, our negative emotions, thoughts based on self-interest, exploitation, and greed. These are elements that prevent the expansion of consciousness, elements that cause separation and discord. All these elements are seeds of disease in our various vehicles for which we pay a very high price. The keynote, the nature of our essential pitch, the pure sound of our being is ever expanding, liberating, and inclusive. To discover this note and to create harmonious chords within all our systems is the process of advanced healing of the future.
Please read that sentence one more time and with more emphasis, because there is our keynote right there.
Is
We
it
are trying to learn,
to
right?
discover?
Yes.
To discover this note and to create harmonious chords within all our systems is the process of advanced healing of the future.
Wow. So we are going to find what is the keynote and how I can push the rest of me to be in harmony with that. Okay? It's not like, oh, I'm going to do that today. It's not that easy, but that's why we're here. Isn't that why we study the teaching? People go to church, people do all kinds of exercises, people go to healers, people go to yoga, people go to workouts and weekends. We're all trying to discover what that keynote is that we can harmonize with. That's what we're all trying to do. Whatever that is for that moment, we feel good, but we can't sustain it. So this whole thing is, can we sustain it? Can we do something that will hold us to that pattern a little bit longer, or bring us out of a funk when we're in it? Can we come out of it a little bit easier? Okay? Kurt, would you finish, please, for us the rest of the paragraphs?
The healing process through which a person must go was defined by one of the greatest thinkers, the Christ, who said, "Be perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect." The process of perfection, the striving toward perfection, is the process of attunement with your conscious, with the heart note
Yes?
of the entire humanity,
Yes.
with the standard note of the planet, with the keynote of the solar system, and with the Om of the universe.
Can you finish for us?
The Om is the symbol of energy which sustains in life in manifestation. All diseases are the result of dissonance. Healing is a process carried out by every life form trying to attune its vehicles of expression to its essential purpose of life.
Beautiful. Now, we know there are three energies of our soul. And I'd like you to consider which one is a dominating theme for you. We'll discuss this a little bit, and then we're going to do a beautiful visualization. So the three keynotes of our soul, one is light, which is truth speaking, honesty, integrity. It's light, any way that you define light. The second one is love, compassion. The heart note of the entire humanity is a beautiful phrase, love, compassion. Okay. And the third one is that fire that you have in your belly, in your life, that makes you go back and try again and again and again. It's called willpower. Those are your three powers. Let's close our eyes and try to identify which one speaks to us most clearly. At some point, we are going to have all three. But what is the predominating one in your life? Close your eyes and think. Is the most important quality in my life that drives everything I do me seeking the truth? I want to put light into everything. I want to speak the truth, see the truth, live by the truth. Put that in the side bucket, and then consider love. Is my life all about love? Connecting with others, connecting with life. Can I feel the pulse of humanity and feel their sorrows and their joys? Is it easy for me to feel what others are feeling? That could be the power of your soul. The next power is that willpower, that drive to excel, to overcome, to do, to learn, to strive. And it can be hurtful, but you just keep pushing and pushing. You never give up. Those are your three powers. Consider all three and find which one dominates your life. It could be one is the most prominent, and then the other, and then the other. Who wants to share?
I'd just like to ask a question.
Sure.
Because I was thinking a lot about light today. This is a general question. I'm trying not to be too self-absorbed here. But I was thinking about light today, and I'm not liking what I'm seeing being illuminated.
Very good insight.
To the extent that I had a nauseated stomach this morning. Now, am I being just a little woo-woo, or is anybody else?
No. Often, part of our growth is when we see ourselves and say, I don't like what I'm seeing. I am not as truthful as I should be. I'm not as loving as I should be. I'm not striving like I should be. I'm just wallowing in my misery instead. That is an excellent question, isn't it?
Yeah, excellent.
I just woke up today and I'm just going to turn this into a group therapy session. But I was just like overwhelmed by everything I saw. It was like, man, it's just...
Well, we're going to do another exercise that's going to wash that overwhelm out. Okay, that's the first exercise we're going to do today, because we can get overwhelmed when we do a lot of introspection. Okay, so anybody else who would like to share? Yes, Connie.
Well, my light is shining light on the fact that I really need to work on opening my heart and seeing love as more of this unity.
Good. So your soul is saying, look at me, love needs to be open. Very good. We're going to listen to our soul. That's part of the healing, because that's the tune, right? The tune. Anybody else who would like to share? Anybody? Go.
For me, my primary keynote is love, and then will, like this sort of determination to just never give up and like keep finding like the better thing, or how to grow. And then a third is the light, like it's the appreciation for truth and integrity, but it's maybe less balanced than others.
Isn't it nice to discover who you are and say, yeah, that's who I am. It's beautiful. Anybody else who would like to share? Would like to share? You don't have to if you don't want to. Okay. Anybody else? Yes.
By the way, I love this question to do it. I think for me, love and compassion is probably the first one. And I think some of the greatest gifts is to learn to be compassionate and kind to ourselves so that we can give that out, because we're often. And then, followed up by I love what, I think it was Steve that said about looking at himself, because the first one gives us an opportunity to say, interesting, I'm not as wild about that as I thought. And then obviously to keep on going back and knowing that every challenge is an opportunity forward. So I think it's a soup with one being at the top.
I want to take a pause by what has been said. And isn't it a gift to be able to say, I saw and I don't like what I saw? Isn't that a gift?
Total gift.
I mean, that's an amazing gift. Because that shows that your soul is saying, look, This is what you're acting like, but you don't need to. I think that's a gift.
So do I.
The worst thing is, I don't see it. There's no problem. I have no problem. That would be really like being blindfolded. But when you see and you suffer from it, you don't like it. Wow, that's the beginning of change. But we're going to use the washing process to wash that mud that's colored our soul for a while. Okay, we're going to wash it away. Big hoses. Yes, Connie?
Well, and I've been suffering this morning
Oh.
because of this. In the souls of men, let pain bring due reward of light and love. And I kept saying, okay, that's what this is. The pain that because of awareness, and it brings due reward of light and love. And it says, let this, and so that's what's happening.
Yes. We were told in the Ageless Wisdom that God, the Creator, has taught humanity through suffering. Pain and suffering, because we don't learn otherwise. Let pain bring due reward. However, the future is going to be through joy. That's why joy is being taught. And it's just baby. We love joy, but we don't really live by joy all the time. We don't use joy all the time. We like suffering better. Because it's real. That suffering is like, wow, that hurts. I don't like it.
It gets your attention.
It gets our attention. But joy is going to be the next way to evolve our children. And it's being used more and more with parents and their children and with each other. But the attention grabber is the pain.
Well, but
right?
pain's important for a moment, not to ruminate in it, but pain is telling us something.
It works. Yeah, it works. Okay, anybody else from what we've done so far, your 3 powers, would you like to share which one? Kurt, would you like to share?
No, but it was enlightening to clarify.
You're not liking?
No, it was enlightening.
It was. Yeah. I want you to keep thinking, because those are the 3 major powers under which many different powers come. But those are the key. Light, love, and power. They're the triad, right? The triad. Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. You see that in every tradition. Tanya, would you like to share?
No.
No? Okay. All right. It's okay. This is why I felt that we needed new dimensions in healing for the rest of this year, because we need to look at ourselves. I need it, you need it, the group needs it, humanity needs it. We need to really look at light, love, and power and say, what's wrong with this picture? And how can we bring the power of the soul? Yes, Amanda Jane.
I think at a time like this in the world, in general, it's very easy to take the focus off myself, because it seems like there are so many things happening that I would never do, right? I would never do, in quotation marks. And so to have this class and to have this reminder with the teachings is that everything starts with me. Positive and negative is really a fantastic responsibility, because I kind of like it that it's all mine to work on, with help, obviously, externally, because otherwise, if I'm looking for somebody else to do it, I'll find a million reasons not to.
It's going to start with me and you individually.
Yep.
Then it's going to go to the group.
Yep.
And then it's going to go to the larger group who will listen and hear these words all the way through years and years and years. We can go ahead and make these little tiny vibrations going out that will become an orchestra. And so it starts with that. Now let me share with you the powers of the soul, and I want you to pay attention to this, because we will use the power of our soul to heal us. The first power of the soul is we know how to think, right? We have a mind and we know how to think. We're going to use that. It's so important. And it's in this little booklet, Mental Exercises. Power of the soul is thinking. We can concentrate. We can run our businesses, our schools, our colleges, through meditation and concentration. Everything that we do takes power to think. Every time we sit at our computer, we're thinking. Every time we relate to someone, we're thinking. So your power to think, don't underestimate it. Okay, it's very important. Your power to think. because you use it. The second power of the soul is creative imagination. And we're going to use that power to create a new reality. Deep breath. A new reality. Okay? The true reality of the sun. More radiant than the sun. Wow! The third power of the soul is visualize the future. By the end of this year, by the end of these 9 sessions, I hope we are able to visualize that future. What is it that I want to focus on? Okay? So think about those 3 powers, and I would like us to do the first exercise in this book, Mental Exercises, which is purification. We're just going to do it for a little bit. So if you're ready, stand up for a minute and stretch, and then sit down. Please take a deep breath. Put everything aside. I know you're worried. I know stuff is coming up. I know you don't like what you're seeing. Why would I, right? But I want you to see the beauty too. I want you to be able to see how beautiful you are in truth every day. Okay? I want you to see that. I want to hold hands and get that energy out to circle everybody. Okay, 3 ohms together before we do our visualization. Deep breath. Going to close your eyes, sit up straight, and feel very comfortable. We're going to do a nice washing exercise. This is going to be fun. We're going to actually have fun doing it. Concentrate or focus your consciousness in your head. Don't worry about your body. Don't worry about your emotions right now. Let them go. Don't worry about the thoughts and worries that you have. Bring your consciousness in your head between your eyebrows. This will help you focus on the healing process. First thing, we are going to visualize a waterfall. You're going to have your own private waterfall and private pool. You have nothing to worry about. No fear, no shame, no nothing. A fantastic waterfall, any place you want. It could be the jungle, the desert, your backyard, whatever you like. And just listen now to the shushing of the water. Don't be afraid, there's nobody around you. You're all alone in this absolute beauty. Now take off all your clothes in your imagination and enter into the waterfall. There's a pool, and you may be waist deep or chest deep in the water, but you're very safe. Your feet are on the rocks. They're not slippery. You're solid. It's so beautiful. Feel the water. And first wash your body. The outside of your body. Scrub it nice and see the dirt flowing away from you as the water comes from the waterfall onto you and into the pool. See how it washes away down the river. See how the water is cleaning your hair, Just feel that joy of that water in your hair and just shake your head and feel the water. Have the water flow to your back. To your chest and front. Your legs. Your arms. Feel the energy of the water, the wetness, as well as the sound as it splashes on you. Make it a little cold so you feel really refreshed. But you get used to the cold. First it's a little cold and then you get used to it. Just be under the waterfall. Wash every part of your body. And really enjoy it, just like a child loves being in a bathtub. Make the water a little bit colder. Observe the drops that are coming from the waterfall and splashing on you. Watch the current as it washes on you and flows away. Watch how the water comes on your head and floats out of your nose. Your ears, your shoulders. Now find a shallow spot in the pool, lie down, and feel the water just pouring on you, your whole front. Now you can hear it splashing on your toes all the way up to your head. If you raise your hands up, it floats down your fingers, down your arm, into your body and out. Do anything you want. Now get introspective for a second and repeat in mind the following. Clean me, O Lord, by your energy. Cleanse my body. Now the water is becoming divine water. And as you're lying there, the water is penetrating into your internal organs and washing them. It even goes through your skull into your brain and washes your beautiful brain. Let it get washed. Let that water Cleanse your heart, wash it. Your lungs, wash your lungs. Let your stomach be washed. Your intestines are being washed. Your kidney and urination system is being washed. Let the water come to your head and wash your sinuses, your eyes, your throat. All the mucus comes out. Let it wash out. Once again, let the water wash your insides. The outside of your insides, the lungs, your muscles, your bones, all your organs, they're being washed. Extend your hands up in your imagination and see how your water is coming from the fingertips down through your arms, all the way out through the toes. And as you hold your arms up, say in your mind, Lord, cleanse me from the afflictions of my body. Let that water come, receive it from your fingertips, and let it pour over you. Now we are going to come out slowly, squeeze the water out of your hair, out of your eyes, sponge it off your body and come out. Put a nice robe on and sit on the side of the waterfall. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself the following question. What kind of healing do I need in my life today and in the coming months? Ask your solar angel to help you find it. Take a deep breath. Rub your hands together. Open your eyes. We did about 15 minutes of that. It was beautiful. Would you like to share your experiences before we close for the day, Steve?
Yes. When I was doing my meditation this morning, I felt that the meditation process that I was doing and following was way too self-critical. And there was not a lot of affirmation of the good things. I found that what we just went through was kind of like you're a sinner. I mean, it's the old Christian stuff that you're a sinner, you know, you got to accept Christ to go to heaven and all that. And I just feel like the whole impetus of what we just did there was like, I'm not a sinner, I'm a good guy. But I just didn't like that. I'm sharing how I felt. Now, is there something I'm thinking incorrectly?
Well,
You know,
sometimes we take on a narrative that has been drummed into us, and part of this washing process is to wash it out. Wash it out so you can find your real keynote. See, we have culture, we have family, we have lifetimes that's embedded and drilled in us on how we see life. We're sinners, we're bad, we're this, we're that, we're good, indifferent, whatever. We're going to wash that out so that the real soul can manifest. That's the whole exercise.
Okay, what I'm saying is I don't wash nothing out. I'm good. I'm happy.
Wonderful.
So
Wonderful.
share that.
Any other experience? Did you like it?
I thought about the washing go also as a letting go of all the things that I've been holding on to that I don't need to hold on to.
Exactly.
And how they get stored in the body. All that washed out and let go.
Yeah. Anything else you'd like to share?
I thought it was very, like Kelly, I had a similar, very gentle, like just sort of letting the stuff on the surface go that was blocking things. That's how I felt in that gorgeous surroundings. I did like my water slightly warmer than cold, I'm just saying, but with the same effects, right? So yes, like gentle rain, lovely.
Gentle rain,
Yeah,
shushy shower, whichever
Exactly.
you like,
Just,
you know, because waterfalls are really actually strong on your head.
yes.
If you've been under a waterfall, it's really hard on your head. So just a gentle stream would be just fine. We don't have to scrub the daylights out of our bodies, you know. Yeah, gentle. I like the gentle. Anybody else would like to share? All right, we are done. Let's go ahead and say our opening prayer one more time, just to remember what we're asking of Lord. Prayer of St. Francis of Assisi. Let's say it together. Page 8. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. And it is in dying that we are born to eternal life.